What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to Week 3 of the SSBA Pokemon Draft League. I'm very excited to be back with you all this week. We had an off week last week. Technically, we didn't miss anything. It was just an extension of week 2 due to some scheduling. We had a coach drop out, and then wouldn't you know it, going into this week, we had a couple other coaches drop out, including the coach that I was supposed to be facing originally for this week, but we'll get into that in just a second. Of course, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, this channel normally posts a lot of Dungeons and Dragons content, but Pokemon is also another passion of mine, and Draft League is just so fun. And so this gives me a way to kind of get that out and scratch that itch of things that I find to be a lot of fun. So, of course, make sure that you're checking out both sides of that. I'd love to see both communities coming together and joining that Discord and chatting about all this stuff. It's a lot of fun. So my opponent this week originally was supposed to be somebody else, like I was saying. And it got switched this week, the same week that we are having this battle. So my opponent has had very limited time to build, and my opponent is picking up a team that is not doing well as far as differential goes. His team is 0-2 when it comes to win-loss ratio, and so he's come in kind of on the back foot, but I want you to know my opponent is absolutely an awesome person. I have had the pleasure of getting to know ItzDannyMac over the past few days, and it has been an absolute pleasure. So make sure to go and check out all of his stuff. His link, of course, will be down in the description below. He is the coach of the Waukegan Wakes, and he does a bunch of other stuff. He runs leagues, he's in a bunch of leagues, and he's a fantastic player, really cool person. So he definitely deserves your subscription. Make sure to go and do that. Okay, now that you've come back after subscribing to Danny, I want to talk about our team for the day. I want to look at our matchup, and then I want to see what we have brought for the day, just so that you all are aware. And then, of course, right after that, we will jump into the match. If you want to skip that, of course, there will be timestamps down below, and you can skip straight to the battle. So our opponent this week, again, using a team that he didn't really want to bring, and he has made a ton of transactions that will go into effect next week. But for this week, this is what he's got. This is the Urshifu Single Strike team, and this is very, very scary. In addition, we have a free Terra Volcarona, which is possibly even scarier, plus Shedtail allowed Earthworm. Those top 3 mons are absolutely insane to try to fight against, and it's a really tough core to break. And so this week I really did struggle in trying to find good ways to get around all 3 of those different mons. It's really up in the air as far as what Volcarona wants to do, just because it is free Terra, and there are several Terras that do really well into my team. Terra Rock comes to mind, Terra Fairy comes to mind. There are a couple of others that I have considered. My initial thought is Fairy, but Rock is like the backup, kind of expecting me to be using my Rotom as a primary check. And so we're just gonna have to see where my opponent ends up going with this. So those are all scary. Plus we have speed demons like the Hisuian Zoroark. We have even faster the Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated Pokemon in draft. I think it's really good. It hits decently hard. It's pretty dang fast. It's faster than everything on my team except for Dragapult, and that's pretty common that it's faster than most things. And it gets Volt Switch, it gets all kinds of stuff. It gets pretty much everything that it needs to be a kind of Zapdos replacement in some ways. And so, yeah, it's really scary. Of course, it has Volt Absorb as well, so any kind of Volt Switch shenanigans can get shut down there. We have the ever bulky Quillfish, which could definitely come this week with the Intimidate or even the Poison Point, though both of those are pretty good. We have Florges, we have Toadscruel, which gets every utility move under the sun, Tatsugiri, Mesprit, Dreadnought, and of course the Belly Bolt. So this team is kind of a to me it seems like it's kind of half rain, half not, but never committed as far as grabbing Pelipper. So that's a little strange when I'm looking at this, right? The Dreadnought plus Kilowattrel plus Belly Bolt all seem to work really well in the rain there. Of course, the Toadscruel doesn't mind that at all. Terra Water Volcarona doesn't mind that at all. So there are a lot of ways in which this could really work well as a rain team. I don't think that my opponent is going to run rain. I really don't see that coming here, just because my opponent is picking this up and it's not his team that he wanted. So I don't see him going with anything that's that crazy this week. So I'm not expecting that. What I am expecting is Urshifu to be absolutely insane, and for Volcarona to be absolutely insane, and those to be even more insane with the help of course, the Shed Tail giving them free substitutes. So how am I going to beat something like this? I started out, of course, with Hoopa Unbound. Now, Hoopa has a pretty good matchup into most things on his team. Of course, U-turn is always a bad thing, and so I've got to be careful with that. Bug Buzz, of course, coming out from the Volcarona. That's, of course, a big no-no. But otherwise, this thing has a pretty good matchup. And I'm going with a bit of a gimmick this week. I'm starting out, of course, with the memes here. And we are running an Eject Pack Hoopa this week with Hyperspace Fury. Hyperspace Fury is very unique in that it makes contact and it lowers your stats. There aren't many moves that do that outside of this and like close combat and that kind of thing. But what's really unique though is that we also have the Magician ability. The Magician ability activates when we do not have an item and we make contact with someone else. It will then steal that other opponent's item as long as we don't have one. What's really even cooler is that this will all work in the same turn, and so we can use Hyperspace Fury, hit something, activate our check pack to switch out, and steal the item all in one turn. What this means for me is that there is 4 times resistance to dark on my opponent's team. My opponent's team doesn't do all that well with dark, and his 4 times resistance is Urshifu. Urshifu is, of course, immune to psychic moves. It 4 times resists my dark moves, so it's generally going to be a pretty safe switch in to my Hoopa. However, I'm hoping to be able to steal its item, and so if it is Choice Scarf, if it's Choice Band, if it's Life Orb, like Swords Dance kind of thing, Hoopa will appreciate any of those items, and that will hopefully really nerf that Urshifu and make it a lot easier to deal with. Plus, that gives me, at least the first time, a free switch into something else, which we will get to here in just a second. But we have Gunk Shot there, of course, to help deal with something like the Florges, and then we have Drain Punch to at least be able to do somewhat of a chunk to the Orthworm. It won't do that much, but it's at least enough. And then we also have Psychic. Even though we are a jolly nature, Psychic is still going to do enough to where we can threaten the Quillfish coming in. And that's really the biggest thing, is making sure that we can catch Quillfish, because otherwise it's kind of a free switch in, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think this is a really cool set. And so we could always, click Psychic the first time around, Quillfish comes in, my opponent feels safer going into the Urshifu after that for the immunity. We then click Hyperspace Fury, that kind of thing could definitely work. I don't want to end up stealing Black Sludge. That's my big thing. I don't want to steal Black Sludge from the Quillfish, otherwise we're in kind of a bad spot, which could be a bit of a problem. Next up, of course, I chose Dragapult. Dragapult you knew was coming this week, but we're going with a screens set this week. We're just going with 124 speed with Jolly. This allows us to outspeed the Kilowattrel, and so I really didn't prep for any kind of Scarfer, just because I don't think that I'm going to necessarily need it, and you'll see why. The most likely Scarfer on my opponent's team is going to be that Hisuian Zoroark, in my opinion, and I've got ways to deal with it, and so we should be fine on that front. But Light Screen, Reflect, and Curse. Curse, of course, is going to be really nice with the Infiltrator ability, being able to go through those substitutes, and we also have Dragon Darts as well, which should do decent damage through those substitutes, and so that way the Orthworm doesn't have as much of a field day on us. And of course, Hyperspace Fury as well will also ignore any kind of substitute shenanigans. So I've got 2 different ways to deal with subs. So I should hopefully be okay if my opponent does start trying to do that kind of thing. So I'm hoping we will be able to deal with that. Next up, the star of the show, Sneasler. We are going Choice Banded Sneasler. My opponent's team does not like Choice Banded Sneasler at all whatsoever, especially with Poison Touch, because I can click U-turn and get out of there pretty easily. Dire Claw plus Close Combat covers almost every member of his team, but I have a bit of an issue because Volcarona, of course, is going to be running Flame Body. I don't see it running Swarm. Flame Body all the way, trying to burn my Sneasler on a U-turn. That's where Terra Normal Facade comes in. Terra Normal Choice Banded Facade basically is going to one-shot everything except for Orthworm. And it's kind of nuts, right? So we've got to get rid of Kilowattrel because of the speed, obviously. And I definitely think my opponent's going to bring Kilowattrel this week just to be able to outspeed my my Sneasler. But with Choice Band, I'm going to one-shot pretty much everything, as long as it's not Focus Sash, but hopefully we can get some chip with U-turn and that kind of thing. Next up, I wanted to make sure we had a battle of the Zoroarks, and so I'm bringing Zoroark off the bench this week. I've not brought Zoroark to a single game yet, but I think this is the week, because we can, of course, disguise it as Sneasler. Of course, it also gets U-turn, and the thing is, what loves to switch in on the Sneasler? Quillfish. Quillfish loves switching in on Sneasler, and that's going to get hit with an extra sensory. If you want to switch in Orthworm, then you're going to take a Specs Flamethrower, and that's not going to be great either. So I'm probably going to hold off on Terra-ing my Sneasler for a little while, just so you can't tell the difference between the Zoroark and the Sneasler, and that should do me at least pretty well. So I think that that's going to be a pretty useful tech there. Next, we brought Enamorous Therian. Enamorous Therian, I'm bringing a weird set this week. I'm bringing Agility 3 attacks. Now, I came very close to running Weakness Policy this week, but decided against it at the last second because I just don't know. I didn't fully commit to it. I feel like I probably should have brought it, but it's too late now. And so we'll see if I end up getting hit with like a Poison Jab and end up living it and then could have gone crazy. But with the amount of speed that we've got on this, we can outspeed everything on his team except for the Kilowattrel if we get 1 agility, which is pretty good considering how slow we are. That's not bad. Of course, 2 is going to outspeed everything on his team. And then the combination of these 3 moves is going to hit pretty much everything for neutral. So that really helps us out. Again, Orthworm is a bit of a problem, but we have switch-ins to help us with that, and so we should be okay. We should be okay beyond that. But I'm hoping that Enamorous can help us kind of in the late game to set up and hopefully go to town. We'll see. I'm hoping I don't regret not having the weakness policy, but we'll end up seeing. And of course, our final member is going to be Slowking. Now, Slowking is there just in case my opponent does go for the rain mode. This allows us to set up the snow with Chilly Reception. It also allows us to slow down opposing threats, such as switching in a Volcarona, switching in an Urshifu, that kind of thing. Obviously, we can't really take a hit well from them, and so they might try to switch in, and Thunder Waving something like Volcarona is going to be really good. We also have Future Sight for damage. This also invites in Urshifu, so I could always go for Future Sight, then Chilly Reception, and then hopefully the Urshifu is coming in, and hopefully can catch that with a Hyperspace Fury. We'll see. We'll see. And then Focus Blast is there to hopefully catch the Orthworm if we need to catch that. Plus, it hits several other things on the team. So, yeah, that is all for our team this week. I'm getting ready to join up with ItzDannyMac, and we will just have to see how this goes. Let's jump right in. All right, we are back and we are ready to search for our battle here. So I'm going to go with something different. I normally don't choose my music. We'll go with Titan. We barely had enough time to get that in, but that's okay. Good luck. Have fun to my opponent, ItzDannyMac. Okay, so what did we bring? Belly Bolt's really the only thing that's weird. Everything else is pretty much what I expected. I was expecting either Florges or Mesperit, but we don't see either of those, so that's a little strange. We get Kilowattrel, Volk, no surprise there. For Shifu, that had to come. Bellybolt is interesting. I'm not sure what that wants to do. And then Zoroark, that's not surprising either. So I'm going to... I didn't mean to put my team in this order. It's just kind of how it ended up. So I think I just need to go in the order in which they are presented, which is not great because it kind of gives everything away, but it's okay. That's you know, that's me being dumb and trying to mix things up. That's on me, not on my opponent. So yeah. Good luck, have fun. Look at that Greninja just hanging out. Me being all boring still. I haven't changed my card, and I'm probably not going to. But it's all good. So we get... Alright, we're leading off with Volcarona. So... I mean, we are... Although this could be Zoroark. This could be Zoroark. The thing is, Dark Pulse does over half, and it doesn't make a ton of sense to lead with your Volcarona. I don't know, Bug Buzz would just knock me out immediately. Alright, fortune favors the bold, we might just lose it. It is, let's go, Can we remove this thing immediately? It might be Sash lead. It is Sash lead. Okay. But we don't have to worry about who's who from now on. So Zoroark is on 1 HP. We also know it's not Scarfed, which is something that I was kind of afraid of. I was definitely scared that this thing was going to be Scarfed. But it's not, so that's pretty good. Do we let this just go down? That's the question. Because I could switch into this if he's going to go for another Hyper Voice and save that for a little bit later. Because he could switch up and go for a Shadow Ball here and do big damage to this. I'm gonna try it. This might end up being really bad, but we will try it. He did, of course. We do live, barely. Oh boy, that is... We do barely live. You might have... This thing doesn't get Sucker Punch, does it? I don't think this one does. Let me make sure. Zoroark, Hisui. Do you get Sucker? Oh, you get Shadow Sneak. That could be a problem. I really hate to lose my screener right off the bat. I really hate to let two things get so low right off the bat. That's not great. I'm gonna click darts. Okay, he didn't have it. So we knock this out. Alright, so Dragapult KOs Zoroark with Dragon Darts. Okay. So we're off to a start. Our Zoroark's very weak. Our Dragapult's very weak. I'm really surprised that we lived that Shadow Ball, to be honest. Probably should have just left my Zoroark in, let it go down. But that's okay. We go Urshifu. Now, This is interesting because if I were to go for like a reflect, right? The thing is there's no Orthworm, right? There's no Orthworm. So I don't have to worry about any kind of Shedtail shenanigans. What I do have to worry about though is any kind of Sword Stance shenanigans. And I could just give myself a free switch into whatever is next, or find out if this thing's scarfed. Either way, I feel like that's kind of valuable information. And this will give me a free switch. I'm gonna click Curse here. He's not scarfed. So that will knock, I will knock myself out. That is a self KO. There's the Trailblaze. All right, cool. So we do prevent that. So actually that ended up being an okay play because I don't want this thing getting free speed boosts. And now I just go immediately into Cooties. This thing is not going to be able to stay in. What do you go into on this? Zoroark's gone. I mean, I feel like I just click Agility here. And then I'll be clicking Earth Power after that. Yeah, I'm going to do it. There's no way you stay in here. Yeah, there's no way. So we prevented that sweep right there. The Gourmet, what are you? Kilowattrel. All right. Let me make sure that I'm not faster than Kilowattrel at +2. I don't believe that I am. I don't believe that I'm faster, but I just want to double check here. I have 184 speed. No, I do not outspeed this. So for now, I need to get out. And I think just sacking this is probably my best option. This thing is definitely going to be a problem. Yeah, I think I just go Zoroark here. Let that go down. Because, yeah, a T-Bolt's going to go insane on me. Yeah, that's fine. The thing is, this thing is faster than my entire team. Which could be a bit of a problem here. Actually, that could end up being a bit of a problem. Let's see. I think I have to go into Hoopa here. And what is your... I mean, what's your switch in here, you know? Like, I don't believe Hoopa, even if I'm scarfed, would be faster than the... Well, I would. No, I would. So it seems like I guess I'm trying to act like I'm bluffing the scarf here. I'm going to click Hyperspace Fury. It does have U-turn, but I survive. I knew I could take one, despite it being 4 times effective. I would love if you would go into Urshifu here. That would be great. Because I went ahead and went for it. Panda? What is this? Okay, I might get some leftovers out of this. I don't know. We'll find out. That didn't do all that much, but that's okay. I do get to go into something else. So defense falls. I do give it charge, which is fine. Gonna get my eject pack, and I'm out. And the thing didn't activate, so Showdown is broken, which is wonderful. But now I get to go into Sneasler. So, given how much damage that did to Belly Bolt, are you like how? So your max defense for it to be doing well. Yeah, that could be a high roll on max defense. So I'm gonna assume that's what you are. Close combat should kill here because, of course, I am choice banded. Could also U-turn. I'm just gonna click CC here. Please kill this. Oh my gosh, are you serious? And it gets charged. Chilling water. Okay, I can live a chilling water. Oh, that's annoying. It's really annoying. I'm gonna go for another one, just to go ahead and take this out or do a little bit of damage to something else coming in. If you want to bring Volcarona in to try to burn me, that would set me up for later. No, we're just gonna take this out. All right. Okay, so we are up, but I do think that we are also on the back foot as well. So I wouldn't necessarily say that we are winning this battle by any means. That's definitely not the condition that I would feel we are in. So what do you bring in on this? Probably the Kilowattrel, I would imagine. That seems like a pretty safe bet. You're not choiced, which is good to know. Yep. Makes sense. At this range, Hurricane does have a 75% chance to KO, and he's guaranteed faster. Dire Claw does KO for sure, and that's if I were to Terra normal. Yeah, if I Terra normal, it reduces that chance to a 75% chance. The thing is, this thing is really a pain in my side. I think I've got to go for it. I'm choice banded into... Oh no. I forgot that I was choice banded and messed that up. So now I throw away my Terra Captain for no reason. And I was faster anyway. Oh man, that's unfortunate. So he's more on the bulky side. So yeah, Dire Claw would have definitely KO'd that. So that is me throwing the game pretty much. I'm gonna go into this. Let's see. Click Future Sight. Probably take so much damage to a... gonna roost. However, the thing is, this thing is not fast. It's more on the bulky side. So, I mean, for that reason... For that reason, it seems to me that a +2... That if I get to +2 speed with this, I should outspeed it. I would imagine, since he's more on the bulky side. But whether or not that actually will KO is another question entirely. No, it does about half, which is not enough. I don't think that I can beat this now because I messed it up. I'm gonna click Chili Reception here. He just roosts again. Yeah, I definitely threw that there by taking too long to make a decision. So I'm gonna go Hoopa here. And then back to this. I would have loved to have stolen an item, but that didn't exactly work out either, unfortunately. Okay, there's the U-turn, so we get that right at least. But I have not set up my speed just yet, which is a little unfortunate. What do you go into? Urshifu. In order to take Future Sight. Okay. The thing is, I have the Kebia Berry on this. And so I think I set up Agility because I can take one hit. Okay, you're going to switch out. All right. Going into this. Okay, I do have Earth Power. I don't care about Intimidate. And again, I have the Kebia Berry. So I'll be able to take the first hit from you. And that just one-shots. Okay. I will take that. I guess my opponent didn't think I had it. The thing is, I always one-shot an Urshifu, no matter what. That's just a given. Now, I don't know if my opponent knows my spread is the only thing. But as it stands, yeah, you go into this. Thunderbolt does a little over half. Does a little over half. I think I stay in here and click Draining Kiss. Yep, I'm faster. Okay, not the best damage, but I'm gonna get recovery back after I'm hit with this. As long as I don't get paralyzed or all of the above, okay. So you're like magnet or some kind of boosting to your yeah, that's even then that's dealing a lot of damage. So you're modest, that's what it is. Yeah, you are modest. Modest magnet with a max roll is what that looks like. Modest magnet with a, and he got like pretty much absolute max. So now I basically don't have a way to beat this because it's faster and it one-shots everything. Yeah, that paralysis is everything. So yeah, now I can't beat this Kilowattrel. I don't think that there's really anything else that I can do at this point. And it's all because I misclicked on... All because I misclicked on Sneasler. I feel like I could have taken this once I figured out that he was modest. Yeah, well, once I figured out he was modest, Sneasler could have just swept. All I had was switch out, come back in, click Dire Claw, and this thing was gone. So that's entirely on me. This match was mine to lose for sure, and I found a way. I definitely found a way. So I apologize to all of you out there who were rooting for me. I misclicked that, and that's one of the fun parts of Wi-Fi. One of the fun parts of Wi-Fi is that sometimes you click on something and then it says your choice banded, and you sit there for 10 seconds until your timer runs out, and then it's over. So yeah, GG to my opponent. That is going to be the 3-0 victory for my opponent. Yeah, U-turn is going to take me out there. So yeah, GG. Like I said at the beginning, Kilowattrel is really good, and I think I kind of underestimated it. I really thought that Orthworm shenanigans were going to be a little more prevalent, but I think that if I had just swapped out into something else on my Sneasler, and then clicked Dire Claw later on, I think I could have been okay. The Volcarona just never came out, and so that was a little surprising. Throwing away my Dragapult early on was not great, because with screens I would have been doing really well. If I had fully committed and brought the what's it called, the weakness policy, I would have been doing a lot better, but there was nothing I could do about that paralysis though, because that was the big hit that I took. But either way, we are now 1-2, which is a little unfortunate, and we've got a tough matchup ahead of us next week as well. But you know what? We're going to push on. We're going to push on, and we're going to do the absolute best that we can. Thank you all, of course, for watching this video. Of course, make sure to check out my opponent if you haven't already. And until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.